She entered the courtroom smiling, confident she was going to be out soon, she thought. But 17-year-old Sarah Grace Patrick had no idea what was about to unfold. In less than 2 hours, that smile would vanish forever, replaced by the stark reality that she'd be spending the foreseeable future behind bars. This wasn't just another bond hearing. This was the moment when two versions of Sarah Grace Patrick would collide in front of a judge, and only one would walk away believing. On one side of the courtroom sat her supporters, wearing "I Stand With Sarah" t-shirts. On the other hand, the family of James Brock, a man who once called her his stepdaughter, is now demanding she never see freedom again. Between them sat the truth of what happened on February 20th, 2025. A truth so disturbing, it would challenge everything we think we know about family, grief, and the dark side of our social media-obsessed generation. The morning after. The 911 call came in at 7:15 a.m. A 5-year-old girl had walked into her parents' bedroom and discovered a nightmare. Her father, 45-year-old James Brock, and her mother, 41-year-old Kristen Brock, lay motionless on their bedroom floor. Blood. So much blood. The child's screams brought 17-year-old Sarah running. She found her half-sister Jaylee hysterical, standing over the bodies of their parents. Sarah did what any innocent person would do. She called the police. Or at least, that's what it looked like. When Carroll County Sheriff's deputies arrived, they found exactly what Sarah reported. A couple shot to death in their own home. Multiple gunshot wounds. But then the investigators began noticing things. Strange things. The kind of details that make seasoned detectives pause. No forced entry. No signs of struggle. No broken windows, no kicked-in doors. Nothing disturbed downstairs. The kitchen was clean, living room untouched.
I recognize many of you in this room that did come out on the scene that fateful day on February 20th. On the morning of February 20th, 2025, deputies with the Carroll County Sheriff's Office responded to a tragic scene at 1531 Carrollton Tyus Road. They discovered the bodies of James Brock, 45, and Kristen Brock, 41, both deceased from apparent gunshot wounds. From the very moment the 911 call was received, a relentless investigation began.
Or so they thought. The perfect family that wasn't. To understand what happened in that house, you have to understand the people who lived there. And more importantly, you have to understand what they were hiding. James and Kristen Brock looked like the perfect success story. A blended family that had overcome addiction, found God, and built a new life. They were devoted members of Catalyst Church in Carrollton, attending services regularly, volunteering, presenting the image of a reformed, faith-filled couple who'd left their troubled past behind. But court documents tell a darker story. Kristen's first marriage had been destroyed by drugs. Records from 2018 stated bluntly, "The mother has unrehabilitated substance abuse issues, and both she and her boyfriend failed to provide a suitable drug-free environment for minor children." That boyfriend was James. The custody battle that followed was brutal, with Sarah's biological father fighting to protect his children from their mother's choices. Eventually, James himself was a walking medical miracle and a ticking time bomb. Severe heart disease had nearly killed him in 2021. His only hope was an LVAD, a left ventricular assist device, surgically implanted to keep his failing heart pumping while he waited for a transplant. The device was battery-powered, mechanical, and came with one critical feature: an alarm system designed to be impossible to ignore. This detail would become the key to unraveling Sarah's story. The memorial service. a performance. When the church held a memorial service for James and Kristen, Sarah took the pulpit. Family members wept openly. James's oldest son could barely speak through his grief. The congregation mourned together, united in sorrow. Then, Sarah spoke.
I was ready for my mother's Kristen. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Sarah, and I'm Kristen Brock's daughter and James Brock's stepdaughter. This isn't easy, and I don't know how bad I to do this all the time, but I'm really happy I get to do this. Just bear with me, because I stutter a lot. I just wanted to say goodbye to my mom and Jamie since we never got the chance to. I was so used to you guys always being here to the point that I never once thought to imagine y'all not being here. I didn't have a single clue how much I needed y'all until now. For James, thank you for all the life lessons you taught me and for being the best, honest dad ever. Your heart will finally be healed in heaven and neither of y'all will be in any pain anymore. Although that gives me so much comfort, your fight was not supposed to end there. And for my mother, everything we went through does not define what kind of person or what kind of mother you were. You were a beautiful, kind soul with so much gratitude and so gosh dang strong. And you taught me so many life lessons, and some that you just recently taught me within the letter you sent to James in 2018. When I first read it, I smiled, I cried, and I got chill bumps. But every single time I read it, it puts me to a lot of peace. So I thought I'd share it. May 23rd, 2018, Deuteronomy 6:5. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. The wrong one will find you in peace and leave you in pieces, but the right one will find you in pieces and leave you in peace. We can't always choose the music that life plays for us, but you can choose how we dance to it. She was always dancing to her own beat, LOL. And keep in mind, she wrote that herself. Eventually, all the pieces fall into place, but until then, laugh at the confusion, live for the moment, and know that everything happens for a reason. I can choose to let it define me, confine me, refine me, outshine me, or I can choose to move on and leave it behind me. Always, Kristen Brock. Considering that gave me so much closure, I want to remember them for who they were and not what happened to them, and be happy for the time we got to spend together and not sad about the time that we don't. I may always and will always be her sunshine, but she will always be my star from up above. And I know at nighttime I can come and look at Mama and Jamie in the sky, and gladly they will save me a seat in heaven like they saved for me. Gladly they will save a seat for me in heaven like they've saved a seat for me in this very church. Although there's nothing we can do to bring them back, we still have control over how we treat people with us today. Therefore, when someone tries to tell you anything, no matter how important it could be, just listen, because you never know when it's somebody's time to go. You could say goodnight and wake up a few hours just to find out they weren't there to spread their joy and their love. So just listen and never take a hug or anyone or anything for granted and love it all that you have in you like they did. And lastly, my take on not taking people for granted. I want to thank my family, also known as my cat fam, my grandparents, my siblings, Jamie, Johnny, Jaden, Jojo, Trey, Tristan, Ashley, and Jesse for helping me get through my worst nightmare. And last but not least, I want to thank Tasha, Bree, Nate, Lane, Kimberly Hayes, Kim Bowling, Katie, and most of all, my father, Angie, and Ben for making such a big difference. Jamie and Mama would have thanked y'all too. I love you guys, and so do I. And so do they. I'm sorry.
Her voice never wavered. Not once. No tears, no breaking. Just a polished, rehearsed-sounding tribute that felt more like a performance than genuine. For months after the murders, Sarah posted emotional videos, crying, mourning, asking for prayers. One post was captioned, "Please send prayers for healing." At the end of that video, she added a telling detail. "I should delete later." She never did. But the videos weren't the most disturbing part. It was the private messages. Sarah had been systematically reaching out to true crime content creators across multiple platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, with the same request: cover my parents' murder case. But perhaps the most chilling message was the one Sarah sent to another creator. Hey, I was wondering if you would be able to cover my parents' murder case. It's super interesting, and I think your audience would love it. Super interesting. Those were her words. Her parents were dead less than a week, and she was marketing their murders like content, like entertainment, like a story arc for someone else's channel. In the comments section of one video discussing the case, an account believed to belong to Sarah engaged with users. When someone asked what weapon was used, she simply replied with a gun emoji. When another commenter speculated that the killer must have known the victims, she wrote, "Most definitely was, since they knew the house." One creator Sarah reached out to said she told her that coverage of the murder would be a really big hit. Think about that. A 17-year-old girl, allegedly grieving her murdered parents, was actively trying to make their deaths go viral. Defense attorneys would later claim this was just Sarah's way of processing trauma. She was a true crime fan seeking understanding through familiar content. But prosecutors saw something else entirely: a calculated attempt to control the narrative before she became a suspect. This wasn't grief. This was damage control. The contradiction that changed everything. When Sarah gave her statement to police, she claimed she'd been asleep the entire night. Didn't hear anything unusual, just woke up to her sister's screams. A straightforward account. Simple. Clean. But then came the detail that would destroy her entire story. Sarah admitted, volunteered actually, that she'd heard James's LVAD alarm going off. In fact, when speaking to Kelly Brown, she said she heard that alarm going off throughout the night. Let's pause here and understand what that means. August 19th, 2025, the bond hearing. The courtroom was packed. Supporters wearing "I Stand With Sarah" t-shirts filled one side. The Brock family, dressed in black, filled the other. Judge Dustin Hightower took his seat and made something immediately clear.
I appreciate the attorneys working with me. The request for bond, I believe, was done on July 11th, and I was in compliance with getting that scheduled in the time frame that was necessary. But because of some surrounding factors, I believe both the state and defense agreed to put that out to this day and was allowed me to spend.
Caitlin O'Keefe, who took Sarah in after the murders, testified,
I've had some teenagers, and one that gave me a hard time, and Sarah was a pleasure. She was easy.
Do you still have...
Friend after friend echoed the same sentiments. Hurting someone simply isn't in her nature or character. She remained incredibly kind, respectful, and especially patient. She just doesn't have this in her. The defense painted a picture of a girl with no criminal history, no driver's license, strong community support. They argued for bond with conditions: ankle monitoring, house arrest, no social media. Then the prosecution called their witnesses. Kim Bowling, James's sister, took the stand. Her voice trembled with barely controlled emotion.
Your name is spelled in my court.
Okay. Hi, my name is Kim Bowling, K-I-M. Jamie is my brother, my only brother I have left, my only sibling I have had. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. Since this tragic day, my brother Jamie and his wife Kristen were taken from us. I have become their voice as they no longer have one. I would like to share how this brutal tragedy has affected me. I not only lost my brother, but also my sister-in-law in the most horrific way imaginable. Every night I lay awake, unable to sleep, haunted by the thought of what my brother Jamie and Kristen might have experienced in those final moments. With the possibility that they were awake when the defendant entered their room with a gun, and I imagine their terror in their final breaths. The defendant is charged with the brutal murders of my brother, Jamie, and my sister-in-law while they were lying in their bed. Shot multiple times, including both shot in the head.
Victims on the Brock side of the family who voiced their
This is not just a double homicide, Parrish stated. This is the murder of the defendant's mother and stepfather.
As a matter of fact, they're here in support of her and willing to have her live with them. The grandfather, who is Kristen's father, Sarah Grace's father, all can live, Sarah Grace can live with them. Multiple people have said that Sarah Grace was invited into their home and they're not even family. So they're willing to have her be.
The ruling. Judge Hightower took his time, carefully considering every word of testimony. When he finally spoke, his decision was clear.
With that being said, and listening to the witnesses here, if I weigh these witnesses' testimonies and I weigh what I hear today, I believe those closest, and I say closest, in family relationship, expressed that they had vast concerns that she would have the ability to flee, that she would be a danger to the community, that she would be a danger to them, and that she would pose a significant risk of intimidating, or actually I think the state steered away from intimidating, or influencing or manipulating witnesses. By finding that, I find the state has met their burden today by preponderance of the evidence. And Miss Patrick, because of that, I'm bound by the law, and I do not believe that she would be a proper candidate for bond at this time.
Bond denied. On her way out, additional charges were added to Sarah's case. 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, 8 counts total.